The spring market in Toronto real estate is now coming soon and may be here sooner than we think. Welcome to the channel. This week we are breaking down the TREB Market Watch report for February of 2024, breaking down a little bit of statistics, a little bit of prices, a little bit of trends, see where things are going heading into Toronto's spring market. And if you are new to the channel, my name is Gabriele Battista from Homes into Reality. I'm a Toronto real estate agent with a distinct focus on helping first-time buyers navigate the Toronto real estate market. So when they are ready to make that first big move as first-time buyers, they can do so with confidence. If you are interested on how I can help you make that first big purchase, feel free to subscribe, like the video, let me know what you want to see more of. And of course, in the description, you have my phone number, my email, and a link to book a call with me where we can dig a little bit deeper and see how I can help you make that very first big move. Enough of me, let's get into the content. Now, what people love to talk about the most is prices. How much something costs, how much am I going to spend? And for that, we like to look at the median price point for different types of Toronto properties. The reason why we use median is because the average price tends to be skewed a little bit higher with luxury properties. Median is the best focus for a first-time buyer. That is a more realistic price point because we're probably going to be buying an entry-level property at these types. So for a detached home, we're looking at a median price point of $1.35 million. For a semi-detached home, we're looking at $1.212 million. For a townhouse, we're looking at $1,035,000. For a condo townhouse, we're looking at $815,000. And for condo apartments, we're looking at $645,000. So those are the numbers, but what do they really mean? You know, with these numbers, it's really nice to throw it into an Excel spreadsheet, throw into a budget. But if you really want to know what's going on in the Toronto real estate market, you want to break it down further and where prices have gone and where they're going. So we'll start with our month-over-month numbers, which is the indication between January's prices to February's numbers, the most up-to-date statistic on where prices have been going in present time. We're looking at, for freehold detached homes, we're looking at a price point of 8% of an increase. Semi-detached homes are up 11.5%. Your freehold townhouses are up 8.09%. Your condo townhouses are up 6.26%. And your condo apartments are up 4.03%. Now, people may look at those property appreciation numbers from month over month and say, oh my God, my property's now up 10%. And you know what? To a certain extent, that's true. Property prices have come up in some cases anywhere between 6 to 10%. With that being said, I don't think this is out of the ordinary. The one thing I like to refer to is the seasonality of real estate. And where most property prices appreciate tend to be in the first 3 months of the year. One graph I want to refer to is Vaz City Estates on Twitter. He's awesome because he tracks the seasonality of real estate really well. They'll see that this lines up really well with what has happened in years past in the GTA, where by February, usually property appreciation is up about 7% really early on. So if we look at the fact that property prices are up in that case, it's not something out of the ordinary. Prices will fluctuate from here, but that tends to be February tends to be the biggest month where property prices jump up the most. So yes, have property prices increased? Absolutely. Is this something that is out of the ordinary? Absolutely not. Very seasonal. This is the time where property prices are going to increase the most. It's not really a cause for concern either way. If property prices did not increase, that probably would be the most cause for concern to show that there's no demand in the Toronto real estate market. The interesting number that I want to look at as well is your year-over-year changes. So how does this market, because it's so seasonal, compare from February of 2023 to February of 2024 today? So if we look at the year-over-year changes, for your detached homes, you're looking at an increase of 0.22%. For your semi-detached homes, you're up 7%. For your townhouses, your freehold townhouses, you're down 10%. Your condo townhouses, you're up 4.82%. And your condo apartments, you're down just under 1%. And the reason why these numbers are just as important, it's really going to give us a bigger picture of what's been going on in the real estate market over the past 12 months. Because obviously prices can go up month over month, but it's likely that they can come back down when time comes and let's say the market dips in the summer or dips in the winter. We want to see where the market is as a whole on a year-to-year basis after we see a full cycle of real estate. And the key indications that I'm looking at are number one, your detached homes, and number two, your condo apartments. Those properties transact by far the most of any other property type. So the fact that both freehold detached homes and your condo apartments are essentially a little bit more, a little bit less where they were this time last year has shown us what has happened in the past 12 months. We saw prices really go up really quickly this time last year, and they've come back down, back to reality. So we're very much in a very similar point to this time last year with prices. So although it may feel like the prices are going crazy in the real estate market, overall, it probably leads to an overall 12 months of a balanced real estate market, where sometimes we'll be a little bit busier and sometimes we'll be a lot slower. But overall, over the last 12 months, it's shown us we've had a pretty balanced real estate market in terms of prices. Now, moving on to the sold statistics of your real estate market. We're going to start with your listings, which tends to be your supply curve. We're typically going to be talking about new listings, inactive listings, starting with new listings. So new listings are all the properties that hit the market in February of 2024. And we had a total of 4,347 new listings onto the market. That is a pretty nice jump up from this time last year, where we saw 3,314 new listings on the market. So it's about 1,000 more listings on the market. If we see the graph to compare the past 4 years, we're very similar to where we were in 2021 and 2022, and we are having that big jump compared to 2023. In 2023, February, it was much slower. We weren't seeing as many listings on the market. It felt like it was a very tight market. We're seeing a little bit more back to seasonality, where we're getting a big boost in new listings coming onto the market. And now moving on to your active listings in the market. So what active listings means is the total amount of listings on the market as of February. And that could be a property that came on the market in December, October, 6 months earlier, it doesn't matter. As long as it's on the market as of February, it is counted as an active listing. You'll see that the active listing is up from years past, and actually all 3 years past that we're up. We've slowly have increased our inventory year over year. We're looking at a total of 5,017 active listings in the Toronto real estate market in February. So we do have more listings in the market. We have more listings in 2023 and more listings in 2022 and 2021. So there is more options for buyers to choose from on the market. And a lot of that has to do with, if you see at the end of the 2023 months, we had a ton of active inventory on the market. That came on the market. It didn't sell, but it came off the market. We're seeing more of that inventory come on the market now, and a lot of it's staying on the market as well. So it's very clear as of this moment right now, we do have more supply than we have in years past. The problem in 2023 was we felt like we were so behind on listings. And some people may talk about right now we have a tight market listing-wise, but if we compare it to most of the time and in years past, we have a decent amount of properties on the market right now. And the best thing for us to do right now is to compare those to our demand curve, which is the properties that are selling. The interesting thing with that is that demand's really not much higher than it was this time last year. In February, we had a total amount of sales of 1,971 properties selling in Toronto in February, compared to last year, where we had 1,745 sales in the city of Toronto. With that being said, we'll throw up the big graph. Compared to 2021 and 2022, we are significantly behind on the amount of properties that we're selling in those years. To be fair, those 2 years were very, very busy years, so significantly busier, but we are nowhere near to that point. So although there is more supply compared to 2021 and 2022, we definitely don't have that same interest in the market on that end. And that could be for a couple of reasons. The one reason could be that there are a lot of properties on the market that are overpriced and not at the price point that buyers are expecting. And it could also be that there just isn't that much interest. The affordability is much lower with interest rates being higher. There are just not as many people interested in the Toronto real estate market, even though there's still a decent amount of listings coming to market. And if I can summarize what this kind of makes me feel like when it comes to prices is, although we did see a big jump in prices from January to February, we may see a little bit more price appreciation in March. I don't know if we're going to see a crazy amount of appreciation for a lot of these properties, especially because the demand and the interest in properties is not as high as we think it is. So supply is higher than it usually is, but solds are not keeping up. We can't use the excuse that there's not enough properties in the market for us to have more solds, because there are more properties than usual. So I would expect that because it is the beginning of spring market, we're going to see some price appreciation, but is it going to stay long term? We can use the examples of different property types from last year, and then we'll throw up detached homes, for example. We saw price appreciation all the way up to May, but those prices came back down once demand really tapered down and it wasn't as busy. So because demand's really showing signs of being a little bit weaker than in some years past, it's very much possible we see some short-term appreciation and maybe we see some long-term stability in prices, is my gut instinct, because we haven't seen those sales peak up in the February months. One more thing that I'm keeping an eye on is the listing amount in March. This is probably the biggest indication of where the market is going. Last year, we saw really big price growth because March, we saw significantly less listings than we usually do. And March usually is the busiest time of year when it comes to solds and new listings. So after March break, if we don't see a really big influx of listings, it's very possible that inventory is a little bit tighter, and at least quality inventory is a little bit tighter, and maybe prices do appreciate similar to what they did in 2023. But if we do see new listings in March come up significantly compared to what they've done in 2021 and 2022, I would say we're probably going to have a pretty stable rest of the year, and potentially even some declines in prices after we've seen some price growths in the first half of 2024. My last takeaway for first-time buyers, because like I said before, if you are a first-time buyer, this is the channel for you. I talk about being a first-time buyer in Toronto, and just for your situation. I don't talk to investors. I don't talk to upsizers. I talk to people like you because I want to support your home ownership journey. And my biggest takeaway for a first-time buyer right now is March is a very interesting month for the first-time buyer. The good thing about being in March is you're going to have the most amount of quality listings starting to come out. March, April, and May tends to be the busiest time for new listings. And if we are continuing to see what happens seasonality-wise, and there's a ton of listings in the market, this is when you're going to see the most amount of homes in the market. And as a first-time buyer, this realistically, the search is for your best home. It's not to time the market perfectly. We want to find that home for you and how it's going to fit your lifestyle and situation. So if we have more properties coming into the market and more quality properties coming into the market, it's going to help you as the first-time buyer in your home search. Now, with that being said, it can be challenging. And as demand does pick up, I have seen multiple offers on properties, it can get more competitive. So what I would really push you to do is make sure that you're being smart with your emotions, and you think with strategy when it comes to putting offers on homes, putting on proper price points on homes, not overpaying for a property, because you very much could regret that overpaying in 2-3 months from now. So what I would tell you, it's very important to work for a professional who has your best interest in mind. It won't just give you a price point that will win the bidding. You want to make sure you're paying a proper market value for these properties. So that's very, very important. I just finished sending out my monthly email newsletter to all my first-time buyers who are about 2 years away, anywhere between a couple months to 2 years away from buying their very first home. I send out essentially my thoughts on all these stats that I sent you over here, a little bit more detailed than what we're talking about today. So if you are a first-time buyer and you'd like to get this monthly email, it's a fantastic list, and I think there's a lot of great insights to it. Send me a text with your email. I'm happy to get you connected on that list. So every single month while you have your busy lives, I'm there to update you on the market every single month and keep you posted so you know what's going on in the real estate market on a monthly basis. And of course, if you are a first-time buyer in the Toronto real estate market, my information is down below. My phone number, my email, and a link to book a call with me are all there. I love helping first-time buyers. I love to hear about your situation. So give me a shout, and I'm happy to talk about how I can help you best find your very first home in a crazy market like the Toronto real estate market. Anyways, I appreciate you listening to my rambling. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a fantastic, this will probably come in on Thursday. Have a fantastic Thursday or Friday. Take care. Bye.